Hello and welcome to episode 54 of Mathghamhain Morsels. This one's going to be a bit different. So, every other video I've done something that I've done a lot of times. Absolutely fantastic food. This one is one that I just tried, and I'm actually going to be doing a bit of an experiment even in this video as well. So I have two New York strips. Unfortunately, they're both fairly small, which is why I'm going for two rather than just one nice one. But they are over an inch thick, which is something that is needed for this. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be dry brining and then deep frying steaks. I know it sounds weird, but stick with me. Let's see what the end result looks like. And I did this once already. Oh god, the amount of flavor and the crust that you get on deep frying this. But I'm doing a couple things different, so this is still somewhat of an experiment. I'm going to season these two almost identical steaks, slightly different. And also, the last time that I did this, I just used canola oil. But I have some tallow that I'm going to be showing you how to work through breaking down the tallow, or I'd rather have suet, that I'm going to show you how to break down the suet and how to render out the tallow. So that will be another video that should be coming out, or rather, will be out before this one comes out. And that'll show you how to get amazing beef fat that you can use for all kinds of things, including frying some New York strip. Which sounds ridiculous, again, I know, but stick with me. So, first part of this is going to be dry brining the steaks. This is really easy for one of them. I'll do the one on the right as my control steak. It's just going to be a good bit of salt. I'm using red alile. You can use a number of different types of salt. Just get one with a good flavor. You can use standard salt if you want. All you do is you want to coat every side of this fairly well. There we go. That should be good. Because that salt that you just put on the outside is going to pierce the entire steak through this process. And I'll explain it as I go. So, the other one, I'm going to be doing something slightly different, as I said. So, I have two other things that I'm adding. I got, just this week, a packet of umami powder, which is made from shiitakes, maitakes, and a couple other types of mushrooms. So it's this odd kind of crumbly brown thing in this mix. And then I also just have some straight MSG. Don't buy into what everyone said. MSG doesn't really give you headaches. It's something that is found in your body normally. It just gives it more flavor. You can decide that you don't want to use MSG. You can not use maitake. That works, or not maitake, but umami, which the company is Taki, but I've also seen another company, maitake, make this. And I'm just going to grind a fair bit of salt into this mixture. And swish it round so that it gets blended. Looks like the Taki powder. The umami powder is coming out first, but just going to keep adding on to both sides, and anything that falls off I'm just going to make sure that I press into the sides, because you want this thing completely coated. You don't want parts of it that haven't been salted. You don't want parts of it that don't have everything on it. You want it really well coated. So that looks like that's going to be good. Good coverage. And then this just goes onto a cooling rack that is on a baking sheet, or if you have a large enough plate that you can get a cooling rack on, you can do that as well. And now, all that's left to do with these steaks at this time is these are going to go into my refrigerator, and they're going to sit there for at least 24 hours. In that 24 hours, you can already see on the salted one especially that the liquid is already starting to come out of the steak and melt the salt on top. It's then going to, after getting all the salt melted, sink back into the steak, allowing the saltiness to get throughout. I'm curious if the umami powder and MSG will do the same, which is why I have this experimental steak over here. And I'll probably lose track of which one's which in the process of frying these bad boys up after they've been able to dry brine. So these are going to go into the refrigerator and sit there for a while. So I shall see you all later. Okay, so here's what the steaks look like after their dry brine. There is a slight textural change as you touch the meat. They look absolutely beautiful. The one that I put the umami powder on, there's still some of the umami powder that is kind of risen up in its normal shape. Other bits of it, though, have actually kind of fused with the meat, so that has me a bit hopeful. And it'll be amazing if that is actually worked into the meat. So I just have the beef tallow heating up, and I want to get that at about 360 degrees Fahrenheit before I throw these in. But I wanted to show the meat what it looks like in the after shot before it ends up going into the fryer. So I'll join you guys back when it's first going in. Have a good one. Okay, so here we are in the kitchen. As you can see, I have my cast iron on the burner, as is not quite showing up in the video. I have some of that lovely tallow that I rendered out in the cast iron, and it has just come up to about 360 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the exact temperature that we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in these steaks. Make sure that my oil hasn't fallen. I heated it up a bit above that 360 degrees so that I could add in the steaks without it falling much below. And I have just enough oil so that it covers my steaks. I am using a little thermal thermometer, one of the laser thermometers rather. It is fantastic, and if you're going to fry things, I recommend you use it. This will kind of spit and bubble, so I'm just going to throw a little splatter guard on top, and you can already see a couple areas where the splatter guard's catching it. So this will be allowed to deep fry for a few minutes before I then transition it over to rest. But it's going to be just long enough that I think you guys might get bored if you're just watching this bubble away because there's not really anything that's done other than just watch the meat. So I will jump back and join you guys once this is finished cooking. Welcome back, and here we are. The two steaks have been deep fried. I took the time to make some tallow fried potatoes, or French fries rather. Twice fried, so they're particularly crunchy. And then just a simple mixed green salad with a homemade vinaigrette and some Parmesan cheese. So, I haven't cut into these yet, but there we go. That's a beautiful, beautiful medium rare in the kind of yellow light of my desk area. It looks almost blue, but it's not. It is, to my eye, perfect medium rare. I don't know which one's which. I don't know which one's just the salt brine and which one's the salt and all the other stuff. Mm. Mm. That's a damn good bite. Let's try this one. And I'll give the view as well. Again, beautiful medium rare. Mm. Mm. Oh God. I can taste the difference. I know which one's which now. This one here is just the standard salt brine. This one is definitely the MSG and umami powder. I can taste the same flavor, the umami powder. I've had just a little bit of it to figure out what it tasted like and how to work with it. And I can taste that same exact flavor from the Taki umami powder in this steak. And my God, oh, this thing's sinful. Absolutely goddamn sinful. And you can see it has 90+% of it. It's that beautiful medium rare with just that slide outside and that beautiful crust. Good God. Oh. That's going to be a mainstay. This steak, this one's delicious. Don't get me wrong. This one, just the dry brined steak fried off in beef tallow. Absolutely delicious. Amazing flavor to it. Everything is beautiful with that one. If not for the fact that this one is on my plate, that would be one of the best steaks that I've ever had. This one, oh God, it just bumps it up. It bumps it up another level with the just real punchy umami flavors, which you would expect from some MSG and the Taki umami powder. Let me give this one another taste. I'm going to absolutely eat both of these. These are just too good not to. Yeah. Like I said, if this wasn't on the same plate as this one, this would easily be one of the top 10 steaks that I've ever had. The beefiness of the steak itself and just the beef flavor that tallow imparts makes this completely out of this world. The dry brine made sure that the salt flavor penetrated the entire piece of meat. You can still add some more salt if you want on the outside, but if you get just the right amount in your dry brine, you won't need to touch the salt shaker or salt grinder or salt mill, however you want to call it. You won't need to, because it will have just the perfect amount of saltiness that just elevates the flavor. These are both absolutely beautiful. And the reason why you want to get an inch thick or greater cut of steak for this is if you get much less than an inch thick, the inside will get done too quickly. With the inch thick, you get the beautiful crust on the outside. Absolutely amazing. And the inside just gets to that medium rare. These steaks both went in the oil and they cooked for maybe 4 to 5 minutes, if that. But what I advise, if you're not sure about how long to cook it for long enough that it gets a beautiful brown coloration on the outside. Pull it out, let it rest, put in a temperature probe as it rests. See if it comes up. If it comes up within 10 degrees of the level of doneness that you want, when you stick that temperature probe in, it's going to be good. Pull the probe out, just let it sit. It will come up to temp with the carryover cooking, and it'll be amazing. If it's 20 plus degrees below, pull the probe, stick them back in the oil, let them fry up a bit longer, pull it out after 30 seconds to a minute more, then do the temperature probe, and it should probably be good. But this is absolutely amazing. The French fries are real simple as well. All I did was peel the potato, soak it in water immediately so that it doesn't end up oxidizing. As I got the oil up to the proper temperature. These require a lower temperature to start than the steaks did. So the steaks you want at 360 degrees Fahrenheit. These you start at about 320-ish. And you cook them for a good 6 minutes. You want to do them in fairly small batch. It's about 325 probably. Just to be on the safe side, add that 5. 325. You let this sit in the oil as it's bubbling away. You want to make sure that the oil's the right temperature before you throw these in. But you throw these in for about 7 minutes. Pull them out. Pat them dry. Let them rest for a moment. Bring your oil up to about 350, 360. Toss these bad boys back in. Let them brown. Once they're brown to your liking, pull them out. Quickly pat off any excess oil. Toss them in a bowl. Toss in salt, toss in pepper, whatever other seasonings you want. You need to season these while these are hot. If you season them after they've cooled a little bit, the seasoning won't stick. These are just salted, and the salt definitely stuck to them. is absolutely amazing. Just look at the inside of that. Fantastic French fries. And you get that nice crust. So that's how you deep fry a steak. And also, as a little bonus, how you twice fry French fries. And with that, have a good one all. Oh, before I go, of course I have to say my usual. Try something new. Have you deep fried a steak before? Many people haven't. Try this. My God, this is amazing. Especially if you do it in beef tallow, and especially if you season it up with umami powder, some MSG, and salt in your dry bread. Oh, this steak, like I said, this one's amazing. One of the best steaks that I've had. Easily one of the top 10 best steaks that I've had. This one blows it out of the water. Easily just blows it out of the goddamn water. Try this goddamn steak. Have a good one all.